Okay, let's take a look at rendering this. So just like before, we'll use karma. And again, I'm going to drop a null, which if you remember, has no purpose. It's just that it's easy to kind of find, you know, our last position in the node tree. Now we'll come back out here. We can turn the visualizer on that, but you don't have to. It doesn't matter. Go into stage. Another option. No, I'll just do it like this. Let's drop again. So the SOP import. Great, and let's go ahead and find that SOP. So up here, click on that to go and find that node. We can see the outs there. Double click, and already we've got our geometry. Brilliant. Let's give it a light. I was just thinking we don't need to bring in any groups yet. No, that's fine. Let's so the dome lights, just like before. Okay, and we can start the render up as well. Go to karma there. Okay, so you can see it's picking up the colors already, which is nice. So the dome lights, so again, I'm going to use one of the Houdini HDRIs. And just this, where is it? The Skylit Garage. Cool, so already, by the way, for panning around, you can click on this camera here, and then you don't have to press Alt. You don't need the keyboard if you're feeling lazy. So that's already looking really cool. Let's change the transforms on this a bit, so kind of rotate it around. You can see the background, what's going on there. Maybe bring that like that. That's cool. I'm going to set up a camera, so I'm going to kind of roughly position it by, you know, without a camera, just by looking like this. And then if I come up here to the camera, and I think this should work here, control click, yeah, still works. Then that places a camera, you know, from my point of view. And then we can kind of refine it by clicking on this padlock. I'm going to come back here again, just so I don't have to press Alt. Maybe do something like that. Kind of keep it in the middle-ish, maybe a bit higher. Okay, that looks good. I'm just looking at these lines here, and I think I'd like them to be a bit more rotated, if you know what I mean. And a way, so I found, so, you know, if we want to work on the SOP geometry, we've got to leave this area. But if I don't want to do that, what we can do is come here and go to split pane left and right. And then I want to keep these kind of connected, so that doesn't, so basically if I come here and go into back to my SOP geometry level, I lose that render. I'm not in that kind of Solaris mode anymore. So what I'm going to do is come back here. Okay, and what I need to do is link these two together, so I will keep this rendering. So if I come here to pin this window, set that to 1, and pin this window to 1, so they are now always going to be kept together. Whatever's happening here will affect what's happening here. And then if this one's still pinned, so it won't follow these two, so I can work on this without losing that, basically. Okay, so what I want to do is come to this transform. I'm going to press P because I've lost those the parameters. I'm going to rotate this a bit more. Oops, not minus 450, minus 40. We should see that update here. So you can see there that we got the color kind of coming up there. That looks quite cool. Also, you know, if you wanted to play around with the color a bit, if you come down here, one thing you could do is play around with this fit. So if I change this value, you can see what's happening there. So basically where 1 is here now instead of there. So it's kind of stretching this over the length of that. I can set this to 2, and that will kind of stretch it out in the other direction. Sorry, compress it down. So 1 is kind of here now. So we're getting all of those colors lower down, and then it will just be red from there on. I'm just going to leave it at 1. That's all I wanted to do with that. That's fine with the camera. And that's basically it. You know, I'm going to drop a karma node. Again, you can set your depth of field. Let's see, we'll come into sampling. If we take a look, get a sense of the position, how far away we are, we're just kind of 1.4, 0.5. So we can use that for our focus distance. Let's do 1.2-ish, 1.2, and then give a f-stop, something quite low. We should start to see depth of field. There we go. So you can see that this part here is kind of in focus. I'm going to get rid of this window now. We don't need it anymore. And let me give this a higher number so we have less blur. We'll go make the distance a bit shorter. There we go, something like that. I think I'll do, let's push this up to 1. Still pretty blurry in the background. There we go, that looks cool. So you can go ahead and, just like in the first week, render that out. So, we just want the current frame here. We're not rendering a sequence. And wherever you want to save it to, you can save in EXR if you want to composite it, or JPEG, whatever you like. And that's it. Hey, I just realized I forgot to add a material to this. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can do that after the camera, that's fine. I'm going to drop a material library. And then dive inside here and drop a principled shader. Okay, set this to, well, let's apply it first so we can see what it's doing. So we'll do assign to geometry and all geometry primitives. That should work. So we see a change, and you can see that gray affecting this. If I set this to white, there we go. By the way, if you don't see an update there, sometimes it doesn't update when you're making changes here. To come here to restart render, and it should pick up any changes that you make here. And the only thing I want to do here is just add some subsurface to this. So, that will kind of give it a bit more of a plasticky look. That it's kind of semi-transparent. Allow the light to flow through it a little bit. So I'm going to set this to 0.4 and then to the method to random walk, or the mode, sorry. Okay. And then the distance of how far into the geometry we see this color, I'm going to drop way down to 0.001. And then I'm going to change the color to like a yellow, I think. There we go. So we're getting a kind of glow there now, and that yellow kind of works quite nicely for me. So that was it, just that. With subsurface, you may need some more samples. Well, the samples are pretty high by default, so it should come out pretty clean anyway. But again, you can use the denoiser, either one to help with that. And also, if you want, you can do just like in the previous week, you can do the depth of field in the compositing stage as well.